尽夕阳柳岸，那些缠绵的往事，化作一缕青烟，已消失在远方。
A piece of country music of my dream of Chinese Venice bring us to the water towns in the southern China. The beautiful old houses sight along the clear river. Especially the tea rooms typically occupied the best corner of the town. The tea rooms are always full of people. Some sit near the window facing the river enjoying the natural views through the window. Some sit there simply enjoying their favorite tea. Also others gather together to around an old man who is busy telling classical stories. Everybody is enjoying their time in a peaceful afternoon. Tea Room Online is trying to bring you an experience of the similar enjoyment by providing you with jokes, humors, folk stories and others. Hope you can have a relaxed, happy and enjoyable time. Tea Room Online with 3 sections. Section 1, Happy Hour, bring you with jokes and humorous talks. Section 2, Stories and Legends. You will enjoy interesting stories about the world and people. Section 3, Solutions in the Calabashes. Provide solutions for the common problems from your PC and iPhone. In this issue's Happy Hour you will hear 3 humorous stories. 1. This baby deserves a unique name. 2. He will never be a father. 3. Do you still remember the beautiful widow? In Stories and Legends, you will hear a true story, a general with his 2 hens. In the final section of Solutions in the Calabashes, Nana will bring you how to share files between your PC and iPhone. Now comes the first story. This girl deserves a unique name.
This is the Happy Hour. 1. This girl deserves a unique name.
There is a wild couple. 1 year after their marriage, a black girl was born. The mom is so happy, but the dad felt unhappy at all. He is wondering that why a white couple give a black baby. He wanted to ask his wife, but he stopped because he is so afraid of his wife. But one day, he cannot help asking to his wife, "Hi honey, do you notice that our baby is so special?"
Yes dear, she is so beautiful just like me.
She will be a famous movie star.
Or become a member of the house.
The special baby should have a unique name.
Getting a Chinese name is unique, I think.
Totally agree.
I prefer a famous name.
As I know, the name Wang is very famous.
Sounds good. So what's the full name?
Something wrong.
2. He will never be a father.
At an exhibition of the world's best swordsman, the 3rd place fencer took the stage. A fly was released, and with an arc of his sword he cut the fly in half. The crowd cheered. Then the 2nd place man sliced a fly into quarters. A hush fell in anticipation of the world's greatest swordsman. His blade came down in a mighty arc, but the insect continued on its way. The crowd was aghast. The greatest swordsman had missed his target completely, yet he continued to smile. "Why are you so happy?" someone yelled. "You missed." "Ah," replied the swordsman, "you weren't watching very carefully. They fly lives, yes, but he will never be a father."
3. Do you still remember the beautiful widow?
Mike went for skiing with his good friend Joe. They drove from New York toward Boston in Mike's SUV. They were caught in a big snowstorm after 2 hours driving. They tried hard to park the car near a country cottage and asked the very beautiful hostess if they can spend the night in her house. The hostess explained that, "My husband just passed away. If I keep you in my house, the rumor will spread among the neighbors." "Don't worry madam, we'd like to stay in your barn and we will leave soon after the sunrise," Mike said to the charming hostess. The hostess said that's okay, and just before she closed her door she gave Joe a look, so meaningful. Next morning, the weather is fine, so they continued their driving to Boston. 8 months later, Mike received a registered letter from a Boston lawyer. He opened the letter, thought for a few minutes, then he realized that this letter should come from that beautiful widow's lawyer. He called his friend Joe and asked, "Joe, do you remember that beautiful Boston widow in the farm?" "Yes. I do." "Did you sneak to her bedroom in the midnight?" Mike asked. "How do you know that?" "You fell in sleep like a dog that night. But I have to say yes." "Did you use my name and address and didn't tell her yours?" Mike asked. Joe's face is turning red and replied, "Sorry Mike, but I did." "It doesn't matter, Joe, I have to thank you. That lady has just passed away and left her farm, cottage, stock and all other properties to me." Mike replied.
It's believed that there are always unforeseen circumstances in the life, and people have misfortunes and blessings on their way. Mike is, of course, very happy with the lawyer's letter. However, the story of this Chinese general should be a better example to show this. A General and His Two Hens, a true story presented by Tea Room Online. Chapter 1, Opening a Channel. Lion Regiment attacked Castle Jin. Rolling down the hill, Jinshan Wang gained the name Crazy.
The story dated to the October 1930. The President of the Republic of China Chiang Kai-shek has gained high advantages over other local military leaders in an internal war. He had the chance to face the farmer military troops led by Chairman Mao, supported by the Red Communist Russia. One of the red areas occupied by Mao is located in the Triangle Mountain area among the provinces of Henan, Hubei, and Anhui. The troops there had enrolled tens of thousands of farmers to join the army. They were busy there to seize the land from the landlords and kill them if they were not obedient. In the early November 1930, President Chiang ordered his troops and surrounded the Red troops in this area. To be safe, the commander of the Red troop asked his forces outreached in the nearby all come back to enforce the central area. One of the forces was the Lion Regiment, then covered western part of Anhui province. This regiment got the order to open a channel between the Anhui and Hubei province, through which our people can come back quickly to assist our central headquarters. The officers of the Lion Regiment found that in the intersection of the Tri province, there is a town called Castle Jin that located in a key position controlling the communication among the provinces. To open the way, the Castle Jin currently occupied by official troops, about 1,000 soldiers must be taken. So they had a military meeting in early December 1930 discussing how to take over this town. Finally they gathered together about 3,000 soldiers and started in the evening of December 14th, and after a night and a day's fighting, the town was taken and a channel to Hubei is opened. During this fight, a child soldier called Jinshan Wang became a young hero. He was born in a nearby poor farmer family. When he was 15 years old, he worked for the landlord to herd sheep on the hill. One afternoon, he was on the hill herding his sheep. A sudden thunderstorm scared the crowd of sheep. It took him a hard time to gather them together, but still 8 missing. He was afraid of the punishment from the landlord and run away with 3 sweet potatoes in his pocket. Next day, just when he felt nowhere to go, a troop passed by and he followed it for more than 20 miles, asked the officer for joining them. This army is the Lion Regiment of the Red Army of Mao. He finally joined the army and participated the fighting for taking over the castle Jin 6 months later. In the battle, he took the advantage of his flexibility. By tracking a telephone line, he found a headquarter of the enemy, killed a high-rank officer and destroyed the telephone, cut the connection to outside. Later of the day, he and his squad leader encountered with 3 enemy soldiers on a small plateau. It became a hand-to-hand battle. In the confusing fight, he held an enemy soldier in his arms and rolled down along the hill. When cleared the field after the fighting ended, he was found unconsciously near a river down the hill. In the hospital, a nurse took half of an ear from his mouth. Obviously it's from the enemy soldier. Since then, people seem to forget his real name. All his friends called him Crazy Wang.
Chapter 2. Clearing up the bridge for the troops, horse-chasing Wind was killed. Revenging for the horse, Crazy Wang appointed commander's head with a pistol.
By the year of 1934, Mao's Chinese workers and peasants' Red Army had grown into a troop with about 200,000 soldiers. The Red Army was divided into 4 front army. The first one was also called the Central Red Army, which directly controlled by Mao. The 4th Front Army was the one where Crazy Wang served. The growth of the Red Army became a great threat to the central government of Chiang. So President Chiang launched a national-wide encircle and suppress action to the Red Army. Since the lack of strong economic support and with very less modern weapons, Mao's Red Army had a strong damages and felt a great survival pressure. That's why Mao decided to have a long march, in name of going to the front line to confront Japanese, bring his troops to a poor, less populated and far away from the major cities and political centers for their survive. In January 1935, the 4th Front Army received Mao's order asking them to leave Hubei and to cross the Jialing River, one of the upstream of the Yangtze River, to Sichuan province where Mao's 1st Front Army would meet them. The commander of the 4th Front Army, General Xu, started to prepare immediately. By the end of March 1935, more than 50,000 soldiers were gathered together along the Jialing River. A special military meeting was held and chose the date for the cross as March 28, and for ensure the orderly cross of the Big River, General Xu named an action commander, General Du, to coordinate the whole action. General Du declared some disciplines emphasized that considering the fragile of the temporary bamboo bridge, it could only be used by people. The horses with the heavy weapons must cross in the water.
After the cross was started, everything seemed good at the beginning, until 2 big horses loaded with heavy weapon were led to the bridge, and quickly the feet of both horses were trapped between the gap of the bamboos. This caused a complete block of the bridge, resulting a big confusion. The incident was reported to the action commander, General Du. He came and examined the case and quickly took his gun, killed the horses and threw them to the river. Just before order was restored, the owner of the horses came and with a shouting, "Who killed my horses? Who killed my chasing Wind?" With 2 bodyguards in both sides came the Vice Division Commander, Crazy Wang. After 5 years of training by battle after battle fighting, he had been promoted to one of the youngest division leaders in the Red Army. Once he knew what's happened, he roared to Du, "How dare you to kill my horses? Don't you know they are heroes? Do you know the notice of?" General Du was trying to explain to Wang, but Wang couldn't wait. He suddenly took out his pistol and pointed it to the head of General Du. "I have to revenge for my horses." Wang's crazy genes started to express. He shouted to General Du. In this critical moment, an even higher voice was heard, "Put down your fucking gun. If you have energy, fight after passing the river." Following the voice came the general commander of the 4th Front Army, General Xu. He praised Du and criticized Wang, brought everything to peace quickly. Many years later, when Wang and Du became the co-leaders of a corps, Du asked Wang during a dinner, Would you really kill me if the big commander not came in time? Not at all. There were no bullets in my gun. I am not really crazy. Wang replied with a smile.
Chapter 3, Worrying about his new married wife, change plan to searching for hospital, catching the opportunity, destroy Japanese observation group.
There was a family-run clinic in the town of Yuncheng of Shanxi province. After the Japanese invaded China in 1937, the owner Dr. Han took all his personnel, instruments and medication, joined the army, became an important part of the military hospital of the 129 Division of 8th Route Army. At this time, to launch a national anti-Japanese war, the two sides of Chiang and Mao reached a temporary compromise. The former Red Army became the 8th Route Army of the National Revolutionary Army commanded by Chiang. Shulan Han, Dr. Han's daughter, is also joined the army with her father as a nurse in the hospital. She is well educated and beautiful. People called her the peony of the hospital. In the December of 1937, Crazy Wang was wounded in a battle with Japanese troop and was sent to this hospital. The nurse responsible to take care of Wang is Shulan Han. One is a hero, the other is a peony, while the peony admires the hero and the hero loves the beautiful peony. Soon they two fell in love for each other. After 1 year they got married. Later on, Wang still fought with the Japanese, and Han still took care of the wounded in her hospital. In the October of 1943, Wang serviced as the commander of the 2nd Military District of Taiyue. He was ordered to escort some local leaders and their families to Yan'an, the headquarters of the 8th Route Army. It's a 4 to 5 days of journey. But just 2 days after their departure, he got a news from his scout that some Japanese troops was trying to surround and attack the hospital of the 129th Division where his pregnant wife was working. At this time the crazy gene in his body began to express again. He ignored the order for the escort and put the people they escorted to a safe place and asked his soldiers to come back to the mountain area where the hospital might hide. One night, they camped in a village called Biagwadi. At the dinner, a local people tell Wang that according to a reliable source, there will be a Japanese military observation group include about 100 officers passing the neighbor village of Hanlu in bus the day after tomorrow. After he confirmed the information by his own source, he held an officer meeting immediately and said that a best opportunity was coming. We would wipe up the military observation group from the world. Many officers had different opinions. They suggested him to be calmed down and to thought it over again. One said to him, "You've already ignored the order for the escort. Now you will change your own idea for searching for the hospital, too." "Yes. Commander Wang, we'd better ask for a permission from our higher official before making further action." The other continued. "We have no time for asking any permission, and no time for further discussion. I've made my decision. I am the commander here. If anything goes wrong, I will take the full responsibility." Commander Wang said firmly. He rose his voice and said, "Now I order." He gave his orders to everybody for getting everything ready for welcome the Japanese officers the day after tomorrow. We don't mention the thoughtfully preparation the next day. In the early morning of the third day, the major part of the regiment had an early breakfast and armed well and went to Hanlu village, hiding in the wood on the small hill along the road where the bus will pass through. Sure enough, around 9 o'clock in the morning, they heard the horn of the buses and soon lot of dust caused by the running bus came into the sight. Yes. The buses are coming, total 13. carrying the Japanese military observation group, totally about 120 officers from northern China, organized by the highest military officer in northern China, Okamura Neji. They were told by the Japanese intelligence agency that there is no sign of Chinese army in this area, so they don't have many soldiers for their safety protection. Soon, when all the 13 buses run into the pocket, crazy Wang prepared toward them. Wang gave the order for the attacking. First, the 2 buses at the first and the last position were bombed to paralysis. After a storm-like shooting, all the hidden soldiers assaulted to the smoking buses. The whole battle was not so hard. After about 2 hours of fight, except a few of them escaped, the whole military observation group was destroyed, most of them were killed. This is one of the most high number of officer loss in a single fighting in the history of the Sino-Japanese War.
This brings to the end of the story of General and his 2 hens for today. Please click the subscribe button for continue to listen next week. Solutions in the Calabashes is the last section in Tea Room Online. It will provide you with answers to the basic questions about your PC and iPhone.
Solutions for some common problems from your iPhone and your PC. 1. How to share files, photos and videos between your iPhone and PC. For example, you want to access the pictures saved in your iPhone, or you want to send a file saved in your PC by your iPhone. What's the convenient way to do it? First of all roads lead to Rome. The way introduced here is easier just in my point of view. 1. Preparations. 1. For your iPhone, you need download a Files app from App Store. 2. For your PC, you need to sign into www.icloud.com using your Apple ID and password. Then set up a few folders under your iCloud drive, such as My Photos.
2. How to add the file to be shared into the folder you just set up. Now take a photo as an example. 1. From your PC, open the folder where your photos are saved in your PC, and then open the folder My Photos that you just set up in iCloud Drive. Using your mouse, taking the photo you want to share and then drop it into the folder of My Photos in iCloud Drive. It's done.
2. From your iPhone, open the photo you want to share. Click Send. Click Save to Files. Click the folder My Photos you set up previously in iCloud Drive. Click Add. Done. 3. How to take out files from the folder you set up previously in iCloud Drive. We still take the folder My Photos as an example. 1. On your PC, open the folder My Photos you previously set up on the iCloud Drive. On the photo you are interested, click the right key of your mouse, click Save Image As, choose Address to save the photo. Give a name, click Save. 2. On your iPhone, click Files app, click iCloud Drive. Click the folder My Photos you previously set up on iCloud Drive. Click the photo you want to save on your iPhone. Click Send. Click Save Image. Done. Thank you for visiting Tea Room Online. If you like our program, please click the subscribe and the PayPal buttons for your supporting. See you again next week.